Hello and welcome to another episode of Geekgo. For the next few episodes, I'm going to get a few top 10 lists and worst 10 lists out of the way, before we head back to some retro gaming reviews. Today we'll look at the top 15 Batman animated series episodes. I was born in 1990 and this is absolutely my thing. For me in the 90s, two of the biggest cartoon series I remembered was Batman the Animated Series and The Mask the Animated Series, which I also thoroughly enjoyed. While everyone in Hong Kong was watching stuff like Pokemon and Digimon and stuff, I was like, nah, I'm watching Batman, that's cooler. And I used to have like nearly up to 100 of those Batman animated series figures, which are so awesome, until some stupid maid took them and sold them away. Stupid thief. Piece of... But anyway, without further ado, here are my top 15 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Number 15. The Cat and the Claw. What better way than to start this list with the first episode ever aired on television? There is so much going on in this episode. It's about Catwoman stealing stuff and meeting Batman for the first time and Batman has to stop her. It's about a terrorist group led by a woman named Red Claw trying to release some toxic gas into Gotham City, and Batman is also trying to stop her, while at the same time she's trying to use a tiger preserve area to turn into a hotel as a cover for her operation, so Catwoman's going after her, and then you have Batman and Catwoman joining forces. There's also a subplot about Bruce Wayne dating Selina Kyle, all happening at the same time. There's also fighting and relationship triangle going on in this episode. And it also shows how women are just as strong as men. So don't mess with women, people. Number 14. Be a Clown. This episode is about the mayor of Gotham City who really hates his son doing magic tricks, and his son who really loves doing magic tricks, which leads to his son running away with his birthday clown who turns out to be the Joker. This leads to the Joker seeing an opportunity to chain this kid under his footsteps and making another Joker evil prince of crime. To me, this is Joker when he's the most scariest because he's not just going out killing people, he's converting people into the way of his life. One Joker is bad enough, what if we have two Jokers or three Jokers? There are also a lot of comedic moments in this episode, such as the explosive birthday candle with the Joker's face on it that no one notices, and Joker throwing baby bombs at Batman. And without showing you, I can tell you the episode ends with a very touching moment. That's why it's on this list. Number 13. Birds of a Feather, Harley's Holiday. A certain critic put Birds of a Feather on his top episode list. Birds of a Feather is about the Penguin after serving his jail sentence has come back out to try to live life as a regular person. He is genuinely trying to change his life around, but is then tricked by a rich woman, which causes him to become angry and reverts back to his old ways. Harley's Holiday is also on the same number because it's essentially the same kind of story. Harley is finally let back out into society, but then is shunned by, well, society. Everyone's afraid of her and everyone's angry at her, which causes her to become sad and mad again and then revert back to her old ways. Both of these episodes show how it's not just the villain's fault that they're doing these bad things, but also society that forces them into this way of life. It reminds us sometimes not to just hate the bad person, but understand why he's doing this. It's not just the person themselves, but the people around them that causes them to do what they do. And that maybe we should give them a chance to reform, and give them a chance to have a normal life again. Number 12. The Man Who Killed Batman. This episode is about a lucky nobody who accidentally kills the Batman. Or at least that's what everyone thinks he did. While first he enjoys the fame of killing this crime fighter, suddenly things don't turn out so good. Other criminals start to think, well, I want to be the best, and if I can destroy the person who killed the Batman, that makes me the best. Which eventually puts him into the hands of the Joker, where we see the Joker deciding to execute him, right after some sort of really funny memorial service that Joker sets up for the Batman. Number 11. What is reality? For me, this is always one of the best Riddler episodes ever. Most of the Riddler episodes have been quite well in portraying his brains over bronze personality and character. But with this episode it takes the next step because the Riddler has a virtual reality to play with. He controls everything in this world and becomes really creative. This episode is literally the Riddler's brain powers to an extreme extent. And hey, who doesn't love retro style of understanding the computer, internets and virtual realities? Number 10. Feet of Clay. This is a very haunting episode for me. Ever since I saw this as a young child, there was always one scene that really fixated me. The silhouette of the actor being literally drowned by this clay chemical that turns him into Clayface. It's horrifying and... my god. Clayface is the quintessential tragic villain. In this series, Clayface is an actor who, after a tragic accident that ruined his face, he got addicted to this clay that allows him to reform his face for a few hours. But because this clay is really expensive, he is forced to do crimes for Roland Daggett. When he's had enough of doing crime for this douchebag, he is caught trying to steal the clay from Roland Daggett's factory, and is then drowned by some henchmen with this clay. With these 2 episodes, we get to see a person completely lose his mind, personality, and his human side. And throughout the series, I always hope that Clayface can one day become himself again. Number 9. His Silicon Soul. This episode is about a robot who has had Bruce Wayne's entire memory injected into his memory and believes himself to be the real Bruce Wayne. Throughout the episode, he believes himself to be Bruce Wayne's mind trapped in the robot's body. Throughout the episode, he is terrified and trying really hard to find a way to put himself back to what he believes is his true body. And at the end of the episode, Batman questions if that robot truly had a soul, as the robot is such a perfect copy of Bruce Wayne that the robot itself believes that murder can never be justified. Number 8. Baby Doll. This is an episode about an actress who has this disease which causes her physical appearance to never grow beyond that of a little girl. Because she is a grown woman trapped in a baby's body, she gained lots of popularity by playing this baby in a family comedy drama. However, after the show got cancelled due to her appearance, she couldn't act in anything else. She ends up kidnapping all the co-actors to try to relive her happiest moments of her life. Within this short runtime of an episode, we can already feel sorry for her and can completely understand what she is going through. One of the final scenes in this episode is one of the most emotionally powerful scenes in all of Batman history, and I will not spoil it for you here. Number 7. Dreams in Darkness. This episode is on this list pretty much for one reason: a nightmare dream sequence caused by the Scarecrow's fear gas. This one is one of those most powerful moments in the entire series, and it is Bruce Wayne having a dream sequence about his parents' death. This is one of those moments that if you're a Batman fan, you would have seen this all the time. The Tim Burton movies did it, the Joe Schumacher movies did it, the Christopher Nolan's movie did it, all the big Batman stories, and in video games such as Arkham Asylum. But no other has done it this extreme. Bruce Wayne's parents literally walk into a tunnel that turns out to be a gun's barrel. And after the gun is fired, I know that's meant to be like mud and sewage water dripping out because it's like a tunnel or something, but it's definitely blood. Just because they want to pass the censors. Oh my god, this scene is... Ugh. Batman has issues. Number 6. The Underdwellers. This episode is about a complete worthless piece of scumbag who tells a group of children that no one loves them every single day and uses them as slave children to do his bidding and steal things. He also has alligators that keep these children in line. Right away you want to see this guy suffer as much as possible because he is using children and warping their minds. And I sort of wish that they would take this villain and put him into the comic book so I can actually see Batman beat the hell out of him and he bleeds all over the place. Again, the strongest episodes always seem to have something to do with children and manipulating them or them not having a good life. This episode, on the other hand, also has one of the funniest stories ever of Alfred trying to deal with one of these rogue children that Batman takes home. It's a smart, posh, sophisticated butler dealing with a completely unsophisticated child that just wants to have fun and skateboard through the mansion. Number 5. Paging the Crime Doctor. This episode is on this list because one of the rare moments where there's a happy moment for Batman. This episode is about a doctor who turns out to be the brother of Rupert Thorne, a crime lord. And he is forced to kidnap Leslie Thompson, one of his friends, to help operate on his brother. All the investigation leads to Batman finding out that this doctor used to be a classmate of his father, which leads to one of the scenes at the end of the episode, where Bruce Wayne decides to talk to this doctor and ask one question.
Tell me about my father.
And this is one of those nice touching moments of Batman's life where he gets to find out a little bit more about his parents' lives, and you can genuinely see how happy he is. Number 4. Robin's Reckoning. A lot of people seem to think Robin's just a whiny brat. Well, he isn't, not in well-written good stories anyway. In this episode, Batman tracks down the killer that caused Robin's parents' death. Batman of course doesn't tell Robin about this and tries to distance him from this case. When Robin finds out, he goes on a rampage to find Tony Zuko, the murderer of his parents. Well, Robin does have a fight with Batman, asking why he withheld this information from him, at the end of the episode, Robin becomes better out of the experience. He grows up a little bit and understands why Batman has distanced him from this case, because Batman knows he would get emotionally involved. Robin admits that Batman was right to do this, but we also get to see Robin standing on the line between justice and revenge and seeing him picking the right decision. Number 3. It's Never Too Late. I consider this to be one of those adult episodes. Not adult in the usual sense, but adult in that the story is very mature, very slow pace, and very much about a person's mind and personality. A crime war is about to begin and Batman must convince Arnold Strommer to step down, to save many lives. At the same time we also see Arnold Strommer having constant flashbacks caused by insane guilt of the pain he caused to his brother, which lets the audience know that there is good in him and that it's never too late for him to turn back around and do the right thing. Number 2. Growing Pains. Another Clayface episode here, and my god, this gets really depressing. This episode is about the new Robin, Tim Drake, trying to protect this girl for being tracked down by a gangster who turns out to be Clayface. I can't tell you any more than that because it will ruin the entire story. What I can tell you is that this episode questions, what is humanity? What gives you a soul? The girl in the episode is a similar age to Tim himself and they share a special bond while he is protecting her. And this causes the ending to become even more emotionally powerful. Because I can't spoil the story for you, watch this episode and you will see what I mean. Number 1. Appointment in Crime Alley. At first this doesn't seem to be an obvious top pick for episodes in the Batman animated series, but I placed this episode here because it is one of the most personal episodes to the Batman character. This episode is about Roland Daggett attempting to demolish Crime Alley so he can rebuild it with his own property. Of course there's some people who refuse to leave their homes, and for those he can't force out, he will demolish the buildings with them. So of course this is a story about Batman trying to protect Crime Alley, the same place his parents were murdered. And the episode ends with Leslie Thompson telling Batman that
good people lived here once.
Good people still live in Crime Alley.
Crime Alley symbolized the entirety of Gotham City. Gotham City is this place with all these criminals and dark and gritty, and Batman is still here trying to protect the few who are decent people. And that is why this is the top episode in my list. So there you go folks, that's my top 15 episodes of Batman the Animated Series from the 90s. Check out my next episode for the worst 10 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, that's actually possible.
So, see ya.